For years, we were told the first Americans walked from Siberia and made Clovis points. But tools found on California's Channel Islands do not match Siberia. They match Japan. The tools are from the same era and show the same skill. The evidence rewrites everything. The first Americans arrived by sea, so why did textbooks get this so wrong? The real story starts here. Every American classroom taught the same story. People in the Americas crossed a land bridge from Siberia during the Ice Age. They waited for an ice-free corridor to open between two massive glaciers. Then they walked south into a new world. Archaeologists called these people the Clovis culture. The culture is named for a small town in New Mexico. In the 1930s, workers uncovered spear points alongside mammoth bones. These points were unlike anything seen before. They are broad, leaf-shaped, and chipped with a deep groove, or flute. The groove runs up from the base. That flute was the signature. It let the point slip into a wooden shaft. It locked in place for hunting the biggest animals alive. Clovis points turned up across the continent. They appear from the Great Plains to the southwest. They are always in the same layers as mammoth and bison bones. The dates lined up perfectly. They are about 13,000 years ago, just as the ice corridor opened. The land bridge model made sense to generations of archaeologists. The Beringia crossing explained how people got here. The fluted point marked their arrival. Textbooks printed the timeline in bold. It shows Siberia to Alaska, then south through the corridor. People spread fast with new weapons and new skills. For decades, anything older or different was dismissed as a mistake or contamination. The Clovis first story became a foundation, simple, clean, and hard to question. But outside the heartland, along the Pacific edge, the evidence was never quite as tidy. On the Channel Islands off California, no one ever found a fluted Clovis point. The story in the textbooks had no place for what was buried there. On the Channel Islands, the evidence is impossible to ignore. More than 50 archaeological sites scattered across Santa Rosa and San Miguel contain layers of stone tools and animal remains dating back as far as 13,000 years. These are some of the densest early coastal sites anywhere in the Americas. The oldest layers, confirmed by radiocarbon dating from multiple independent labs, consistently fall between 11 and 12,000 years old. Every test, every sample, points to the same window of time, right at the end of the Ice Age. But the tools themselves refuse to fit the old story. Instead of the classic Clovis fluted points, archaeologists found something entirely different: ultra-thin, finely made points with stems at the base. These are Western stemmed points. Some are barbed, others serrated, all of them crafted from local chert or volcanic stone. The workmanship is delicate. Many are so thin and light they would snap if used on anything larger than a seabird or a fish. Alongside them, crescents carved from stone turn up again and again. Their function is still debated, but the best guess is that they were used as transverse points, like a stone shotgun, meant for hunting birds in flight over water. Not a single fluted Clovis point has ever been found on these islands. Decades of digging, thousands of artifacts, and the signature of the textbook hunters is completely absent. Instead, the Channel Islands tell a story of people who lived off the ocean, who made tools for a maritime world. The shell middens are packed with abalone, mussel, and the bones of seals and seabirds. The evidence is buried deep, meters below the modern surface, sealed beneath layers of wind-blown sand and rising seas. The dates are solid, the tools are real, and none of it matches what the textbooks promised. The anomaly is not a mistake, it's the pattern. Across the Pacific, on the northern island of Hokkaido, archaeologists uncovered a toolkit that mirrors what's found on California's Channel Islands. These Japanese stemmed points, some dating as far back as 16,000 years, share the same basic design: a slender, bifacial blade with a carefully shaped stem for hafting. The blades are thin, often less than half a centimeter thick, with edges retouched for sharpness and stems ground smooth for attachment to spears or darts. Measurements from both regions overlap almost exactly. Hokkaido points typically range from 8 to 14 millimeters in stem length and 10 to 16 millimeters in width, matching the Channel Islands' stemmed points nearly point for point. Both traditions use the same flaking patterns, collateral or opposing marginal retouch, shaping the blade from a single large flake or macro blade, then refining the edges with fine pressure flaking. These aren't the only similarities. The sequence of making the tools, from detaching the blank to the final touches on the stem, follows the same steps. Even the choice of materials, obsidian and chert in Hokkaido, chert and volcanic stone in California, lines up. Statistical analyses, like principal component analysis, group Hokkaido and Channel Islands points together, distinct from Siberian or interior North American styles. In Siberia, the dominant technology for this period is the microblade core, small wedge-shaped blades struck from a prepared core but without stems. There are no stemmed points in the Siberian record from this era. The match between Japan and California is too close to explain away as coincidence or parallel invention. It's a signature that stretches across the Pacific, connecting two distant coasts by method, by shape, and by time. The Channel Islands tools aren't an isolated puzzle. They fit into a larger pattern, one that starts in Northeast Asia and reaches the shores of North America long before the Clovis hunters ever appeared. Kelp forests once stretched in a nearly unbroken belt from Japan's northern shores to the California coast. During the last ice age, sea levels dropped by 50 to 60 meters, exposing broad shelves and creating a rich, continuous marine corridor. This wasn't a barrier, it was a highway teeming with life. Seals, sea otters, dense schools of fish, shellfish beds, and flocks of seabirds crowded these waters. For people who understood the ocean, the route offered food, shelter, and steady resources the entire way. The Channel Islands sat 8 miles from the mainland, even at the lowest sea levels. No one could have reached them by accident. Crossing open water means planning, building boats, and navigating currents. Every archaeological layer on the islands confirms a diet built on the sea. Shell middens are stacked with abalone and mussel, bones of seals, otters, and thousands of seabirds. These are not the leftovers of a people passing through. They are the remains of a maritime community, adapted to the ocean's rhythm. Faunal assemblages from Santa Rosa and San Miguel reveal a pattern. Red abalone and mussel shells dominate, mixed with fish vertebrae and bird bones, including species that only live far offshore. The volume of marine remains outnumbers terrestrial finds by orders of magnitude. Even the tools, ultra-thin stemmed points and crescents, are designed for hunting in and around water. The evidence leaves little doubt about how these people lived and what they relied on. In 2025, a consortium of researchers published a synthesis of sites from California, Oregon, Idaho, and Texas. Their analysis confirmed the same story: coastal adaptation, stemmed points, and a toolkit optimized for marine resources. They called this pattern the American Upper Paleolithic. The Channel Islands are the densest cluster, but the trail stretches up and down the Pacific Rim. With each new discovery, the consensus grows. The first Americans were not just walkers, they were seafarers, following the kelp highway, thriving where land and ocean meet. Today, every new find on the Pacific coast forces scholars to rewrite what they thought they knew. The tools don't just change the story, they prove ancient people mastered the sea before textbooks admitted it. The real question now: what else have we underestimated? Share your thoughts below.